Hey guys, let's get more news from Steelers, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. George Pickens returns to Steelers practice, albeit in limited capacity. Wide receiver George Pickens returned to Pittsburgh Steelers practice Thursday, albeit in a limited capacity, a day after he missed a full session because of a shin injury. Pickens has not missed a game over his 2-year NFL career and remains on track to play in Sunday's game at the Cincinnati Bengals. His injury was not referenced by him or coach Mike Tomlin after Sunday's loss at the Cleveland Browns, nor was it listed when Tomlin discussed injuries during his weekly news conference Tuesday. According to the injury report, All-Pro safety Minkah Fitzpatrick remains out because of a hamstring injury that appears likely to keep him out a fourth game. He has not practiced since suffering the injury early in an October 29 loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Joining Pickens as limited participants at a Thanksgiving practice that was bumped up an hour by Tomlin were defensive lineman Cameron Hayward, groin, and Montravius Adams, ankle, cornerback James Pierre, shoulder, and rookie outside linebacker Nick Herbig, hamstring. Hayward missed 6 games after September surgery on his groin and is expected to take on a lighter-than-usual practice load the remainder of the season. Adams has missed the past 2 games and is practicing for the first time since. George Pickens did not hide his dissatisfaction with the low production in the Pittsburgh Steelers' last 2 games and expressed his discontent on social media. This Tuesday, 7, at a press conference, head coach Mike Tomlin promptly minimized the episode. The controversy began on Friday, 3, just 1 day after the Steelers' victory over the Tennessee Titans in Week 9. Pickens deleted all mentions of the Steelers on social media and even published a story on Instagram asking to be released. After 2 consecutive games with more than 100 yards in Week 6 and 7, the wide receiver has only 3 receptions in the last 2 games. Against the Titans, Pickens ended the game with negative yardage production. For Tomlin, however, Pickens' frustration is a good indicator. The head coach stated that the receiver's attitude indicates a desire to be a central figure for the team's success. He makes a point of making it clear when he is frustrated. He wants to be important, he wants to be the reason for our success. And I want players who ask for the ball. I want players who want to be essential to our success. For me, this is not a problem, he said. Asked about the difficulty of training players with strong personalities, Tomlin reinforced the previous statement. It's as easy as breathing. I know that's a cool headline for you guys. But, honestly, it's nothing more than a pebble in my shoe, he commented. Selected by the Steelers in the second round of the 2022 draft, Pickens has played in all 25 possible games for the team so far. The wide receiver has 82 receptions, 1,332 yards and 7 touchdowns. Running with the ball, Pickens added another 40 yards and a TD in 4 attempts. We feel like we let him down, interim OC Eddie Faulkner talks friendship with Matt Canada. The NFL coaching fraternity can be a tight-knit one. With longer and more grueling hours than players, there's nothing more frustrating than spending 16-hour days devising a game plan, watching tape, trying to find a way to win only for it to fall flat on game day. It's a results-oriented business, and in Matt Canada's tenure as OC, the results weren't there, meaning a change had to be made. But interim OC Eddie Faulkner doesn't view Canada's struggles as a failure exclusive to him. It falls on the entire coaching staff. And calling Canada a friend and good man, Faulkner's promotion to NFL offensive coordinator is, in his words, bittersweet. For the first time in his new role, Faulkner spoke to the media Thursday about the change. When you sit back and see all that's being said about him and the offense, we all, and I'm speaking for the offense when I say this, the staff, we all felt that we're all part of that, Faulkner said as tweeted by the Trib's Chris Adamski. And so nobody's absolving themselves from anything that's happened in that regard. We feel like we let him down. And so I gotta say that because that's what a real one would do. And that's a friend of mine and that's not gonna change. Faulkner worked with Canada throughout the latter's entire tenure with the team, first hired as quarterbacks coach in 2020 before being promoted to offensive coordinator the following year. Faulkner, the team's longest-tenured offensive coach, hired in 2019 to lead the running back room, has done well to develop UDFA Jaylen Warren and create a running game the last 2 seasons. Still, the Steelers' offense has struggled for several seasons, and everyone involved, coaches and players, share some of the blame in that. While Canada called the plays and was in charge of scheme, execution was often the problem in Pittsburgh. That's more reflective of personnel not being good enough and a reflection on the positional coaches in charge of developing and coaching technique. But Canada drew most of the fans' ire. The most disliked coach in the NFL, fans chanted for him to be fired all over the country, and at College Game Day, Fire Canada signs were as common as Lee Corso wearing a mascot's head. For Faulkner, it's clear he took that personally. "Matt Canada's a friend of mine," he said. "We're friends. I care about his well-being. I care about his family, our wives are friends, our parents are friends, our kids are friends. We spent a lot of time together. Love the dude." I couldn't say enough good about Matt Canada. As outlined by Mike Tomlin Tuesday, Faulkner won't act as the team's play caller. Instead, he'll be in charge of leading and organizing the offensive staff on a weekly basis to formulate the game plan and to review tape after each game. As the responsibility shifts to him and QB's coach Mike Sullivan, who will call plays, the goal stays the same. Score points. Improve the offense. At this point, even an average offense should be enough to put the Steelers into the playoffs. Shaquille Leonard clears waivers, making him a free agent. Colts linebacker Shaquille Leonard cleared waivers Wednesday, as expected. He's now a free agent, available to all 32 teams. Leonard will get his pick of contenders. The Eagles and Cowboys likely will have interest. Both teams have ties to Leonard, and both teams have lost a starting linebacker. Eagles coach Nick Sirianni was Indianapolis offensive coordinator from 2018 to 20, and Leonard played with Cowboys cornerback Stephon Gilmore with the Colts last season. Eagles second-year linebacker Nakobe Dean went on injured reserve for the second time this season last week. He has a Lisfranc injury that likely ends his season. The Cowboys placed veteran linebacker Leighton Vander Esch on injured reserve October 16 and announced earlier this month his season is over because of a neck injury. Leonard should be a no-risk signing given the Colts are on the hook for the $6.1 million left on Leonard's contract for this season. Leonard, a 2018 second-round pick, wasn't happy with his role or his playing time with the Colts this season. He played 9 of 10 games and made 65 tackles but hasn't looked anything like the player who 3 times in his first 4 seasons garnered All-Pro honors. A back injury limited him to 3 games last season. And you fan, what do you think of the Shaq Leonard situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.